Moves yardage to start things out.
It's a loss of 2. Brings up 2nd and 12 at the 22-yard line.
So the opening play of the drive goes backwards. Now they'll come up on 2nd and 12. Now it's Fields. And he fires one incomplete. Velus Jones is intended receiver. And now it's 3rd down.
That was well defended. They clamped down on every available receiver. Just got to give the win to the defense on that snap.
3 and out, a real danger here on their opening drive as they come up on a 3rd and 12. He's going to float this one deep right side. He's got a man, complete. And they'll work this down inside the 30.
Things are looking pretty darn good on this first drive, aren't they? Came right out, set the tone, this time with a big pass play.
And if the peek behind the curtain that they gave us or their game plan today, I don't think that's going to be the last one we see.
I think you're exactly right about that.
Meanwhile, Fields' throw complete here to Komet. And he'll be taken down at about the 22-yard line. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
On 2nd down, Montgomery. And he'll take it down here just shy of the 15 at the 16-yard line. 6 yards to pick up, and that's a 1st down. Quite the opening drive march they're on right now.
It looks a lot like what we saw in practice prior to the game, doesn't it? You know, because on that last big practice beforehand, you go through your offensive script. You go through your play calling. You go through all the stuff and establish things. And it looks like it's going like clockwork right now for them.
Inside the red zone here. They'll look to throw. And he just throws this one away. Smart decision here this close to the end zone, and it brings up 2nd down.
This is where good coaching and execution come into play, because down this close, you absolutely don't want to turn it over. Good job keeping that in mind as he escaped, bought time, and decided throwing it away was his best option.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. Off the option, here's Montgomery. And he'll take this one down near the 15. They do get a yard there, but only a yard. Leaves them with 3rd and 9 looming.
Well, that call makes sense because they've been throwing it well on this drive, and once again they show passing formation, showing the shotgun. Then they ran out of it. That's a nice play by them defensively, though, to hold it to a short game.
Now play number 8 on this drive, and they need 9 yards to pick up the 1st on 3rd. Here's Fields. And he's got his man in stride, complete. Touchdown, Bears! Cole Komet, a 15-yard touchdown grab. And the Bears are on the board here first in the season opener. Santos able to tack on the extra point, and that makes the score 7-0. After the touchdown, here's Santos to kick this one away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Herbert going to lead up the Chargers here, 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. A little jet sweep to start the drive. And he'll work this forward for about 3 at 2nd down. Here's 2nd and 7 now from the 28. Here's the first carry for Austin Eckler. Call it a gain of a couple, and that's going to leave him with a third and about 5. They'll need 5 on this play to move the sticks. Now it's Herbert. And this is caught. First catch for Keenan Allen. And they've got it well across midfield down to the 40 before it's all said and done. And even 30 yards on a play that began back at the 30. So the big play moves them all the way across midfield to the 40 now for 1st and 10. They'll try and run the option left side. And he got blown up. Losing yardage on the play back at the 44. That's going to go as a loss of 4, and it'll be 2nd down. They're going to go toss right side with Eckler. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 45-yard line. 1 yard is the loss. They back up even further to a 3rd and 15.
Well, they went back to him, but the results were similar, so I highly doubt that he'll get another opportunity here on 3rd and long.
Back-to-back running plays putting them in negative territory. What can they do coming up on 3rd and 15? Herbert. He's airing it out for Williams. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down.
And we're going to see this offense try and spread the field a little bit and utilize the outside 3rd of the field, especially against man coverage. But that time, the defense was up to the task, forcing the incompletion.
Only 29 yards on the punt there. Definitely not his best. And it'll be 1st and 10 Bears from deep in their own territory. The Bears offense ready to go for their next drive. They were successful last time finding the end zone on their opening drive of the season. And they'll get another shot here with a 1st and 10. And he'll get this one up to about his 14. Kenneth Murray, the linebacker, there to make the play defensively.
Defensively, we always know that he is tough in run support, and I think the way that he gets there is he understands what an offense is going to do before the ball's even snapped. A great job of scouting prior to the game. Then
and he fires one that's intercepted. Derwin James with a pick. And the return will be stopped at the 34-yard line. That throw, Charles, over the middle of the field, and a few too many bodies in there got picked.
That's a normal situation, too, isn't it? No matter how hard you try and spread the field sometimes, there's always going to be a traffic jam, it feels like, towards the middle. And if there's any type of a missed throw or maybe the ball's tipped or just too many bodies in the area, an interception can result.
From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. Herbert will give this one to Eckler. And a short gain down to about the 33. A minimal gain as we tick down inside of a minute remaining in the opening quarter.
Yeah, things were pretty stacked up there in the middle of the line. A lot of bodies, not much space. I think ultimately he was fortunate to get anything out of that run.
On 2nd and 9, Herbert. He's going to let this go. Back of the end zone. Toward the back corner of the end zone, but he could not get the feet down. This will wind up incomplete.
Almost feels like anything you can do, we're going to try and match or do better. We've already seen one touchdown pass from the opposition. They tried to equal it on that throw.
So they've been unable to capitalize on the great field position as of yet. Here's 3rd and 9. Back to throw here, Herbert. He lets this one fly toward the back of the end zone. And unable to connect, incomplete. I'll give them credit, they took their shot, but it's going to bring up 4th down.
They certainly had good starting field position on that drive, but couldn't do anything with it after 3 plays. Have to admit that that's a disappointing end to excellent field position. When that drive started, they had 6 points that they were thinking about.
Hopkins' kick is good, and they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3.
So, Charles, they get to them with their first turnover of the game and then make it hurt a little bit extra with a field goal.
And anytime you give the ball up, what's the first thing a coach tells his defense? Don't let them score off of this. You've got to put out the fire. In fact, in 2021, that's what one NFL coach termed his defense. The firemen. Go out there, guys, and don't let them put some points on the board.
And he'll get it up past the 20 to about the 22.
At the line, prepping for their next drive, the Bears offense.
As the offense comes out here, Charles, maybe perhaps a bit more of a focus on the run game for this drive after tossing an interception on the previous one?
I think that's a good way to look at it and a good way to think about it, but maybe they get to it in a little bit different way because after you throw an interception, you want to make sure you keep your quarterback's confidence high. So maybe give him a couple easy throws that he can complete and then get to the running game and try and get things settled down.
Yeah, and still in the first half here, a long way to go.
Rolling to his right. And that will be incomplete. Tried to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be third down.
Thus far, they have been able to move the line of scrimmage very well in the running game. Almost felt like they said in the huddle, can you guys pass protect? Let's take a big shot downfield. Didn't get it on that one, but they may come back to it again.
To throw is Fields.
He rifles one that's intercepted.
And the Chargers are going to have the football here at their own 35-yard line.
Chargers in good field position to start out. 1st and 10 at their 35-yard line. Here's Eckler to begin the drive. And just no chance of turning the corner. He can only get back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 coming up. Looked like he was trying to bounce it outside, but no success.
Yeah, sometimes you got to just figure out where you're going to go, and sometimes you just have to take it to another spot. In trying to get it outside, the defensive pursuit was there and just ran him down.
Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, 2nd and 10. This is a counter play. Eckler. And he's across the 40, 3 extra yards to the 43. That'll leave them with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there.
Even though they gave up more than they wanted to on that play, it actually illustrates how well they bottled them up throughout the game because that was his longest run of this contest.
And he's got a first down as he's up to the 48. Give him the 3rd down conversion, 5 yards on the play. Well, after an interception, last thing you want to do is go 3 and out, give the ball right back. They avoided that.
Yeah, you definitely do not want to do that. I remember in college I played with a really big-time player on defense. We ended up getting an interception as we passed the offense coming out. He told him, if you don't take care of this football, you'll have to answer to me later. You definitely want to take care of it, pick up first downs.
They'll try the air now with Herbert. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. Call that a very strong gain of 24.
Yeah, big play there. And when you have a running back that you can use like a wide receiver, when he has that kind of versatility, you do as they did there. Get him out of the backfield and give those defensive backs something else to worry about.
Herbert's throw there complete to Allen. And he's going to be brought down at about the 16.
If you're going to blitz, likely going to leave you in man coverage with this guy, and that is less than ideal.
It is because just about any offense that has an elite receiver, if you blitz and have him in man coverage, you're going to him, even if he has an elite defender on him, because he usually knows where the ball is before the defender does.
A first red zone opportunity of the new year here as they come up now 1st and 10.
Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. They'll roll him out right. And that one goes incomplete. They tried something out of the bag of tricks, but it's incomplete and now 2nd down.
They've been playing sound fundamental defense thus far and able to keep this offense from creating a major dent on the scoreboard.
Able to force the incompletion, but still waiting for that game-changing play. You feel like it's coming, the first sack, the first turnover.
In a sense, they're playing old-school defense right now. The new school defense is what you said, taking the ball away.
An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Out of the gun, Herbert. And he's left with no option here but to throw it away.
I'm really liking what I'm seeing from this defense because their coverage has been playing at a shutdown level so far. Even backed up late, they're forcing incompletions and fighting to keep them out of the end zone as the first half winds down.
Going to throw on 3rd down with Herbert. To the goal line, but it's incomplete.
That's a pretty play there. Got in at the last second, helped force the ball free, and kept them out of the end zone.
Herbert jogs off, and out comes Dustin Hopkins to take this kick for L.A. on 4th down.
Hopkins' kick is good, and they'll get it back within a point at 7-6.
Well, still some climbing left to do to get back to even, but forcing a turnover and getting the field goal there, that's a small step toward erasing the early deficit.
Absolutely. That interception field goal, that's the beginning of what they hope will be several steps towards erasing that deficit and building a lead of their own by the time this game is over.
The Bears offense ready to go for their next drive.
Here comes another drive from this unit, and Charles, they're coming off a costly mistake on the last possession, an interception in a game that is very close right now.
Well, as we know, they all sting no matter what the situation, but in a one-possession game, that'll hurt a little bit more. But this is an excellent opportunity to make up for it on this drive. I just don't expect them to try and take huge gambles to make up that momentum in a hurry.
A play fake, now Fields to throw. This pass on target, Velus Jones with it. And they're going to get this up to midfield.
Well, that certainly has to feel good. It's not all the time that the play caller should get all the credit. Sometimes I think in the huddle, the quarterback just says, hey, who's going to make a play for me? I just need something right here. And the end result there, nice first down. Drive keeps moving.
So they run the option here on 1st and 10.
And he is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30. Now, I know it's an emotional game, Charles. You can't do that.
And when you get into your film sessions and you argue your case with your coaches, that's exactly what they say at the end. You just can't do it. It costs your team.
After the penalty, a fresh set of downs. It's 1st and 10.
Here's Fields. Yeah, he's got Mooney in the end zone. Touchdown, Chicago. Darnell Mooney
from 13 yards out as his guys are able to extend their lead.
And now before we get to the extra point, remember all touchdowns do have to be confirmed by the replay official. So they called it a touchdown originally, and this will stay a touchdown after the video review, so they had it right.
And his kick is no good. Misses the PAT, a mistake there, and this remains a 7-point game. So with the missed PAT in his rearview mirror, he goes back out to kick this one off.
A short kick taken at the 18.
And they're going to start this drive in pretty good shape as they get it up past the 30. The Charger drive about to get going. They've probably got some adjustments to make because they've moved the football okay at times, but they haven't been able to get anything consistently going, have they?
What you worry about is it almost turns into a basketball game where one team's coming down and hitting threes, and you're coming back and getting twos, and you steadily lose ground. In this situation, you're talking about touchdowns to field goals. They want to put in the end zone and put those sixes on the board.
Yeah, they've been settling. That's why they're down on the scoreboard right now.
Off the play fake to Eckler, it's Herbert.
Pressure, and he's taken down. A Bear sack. Yannick Ngakoue in there to bury him for a loss of 11.
Now that was a passer's nightmare. The front door totally shut down by the defense, so he kept going backwards, hoping to find another avenue of escape. It didn't exist.
And that is incomplete. Boy, did everything but hold on to it. But a nice play defensively, and now it brings up fourth down. Fourth down, Corliss Waitman now on to punt.
Taken in at the 22. A 46-yard punt, 8 yards on the return. And the Bears take over. At the line, prepping for their next drive, the Bears offense. Still more than a minute to go, so there is time if they want to mount something here.
Not only time, but they have 3 timeouts at their disposal as well, so that changes everything that you're doing here. Without those timeouts, you can only work the sidelines, hoping to get out of bounds. Here, the middle of the field is still available because you can call timeout and regroup.
Ball on the 30 as they come up 2nd and 10. Going up the gut, Montgomery. And some room to roam now. And they will finally drag him down at the Chargers' 28.
So that time they get the tight end on the hold.
Normally he's a pretty good run blocker, but this time he just didn't get his arms extended and let go quickly enough. The flag came out as a result.
Now they face a 2nd and long following the holding penalty. Now Montgomery running right. Call it a gain of 5 that time. They'll be left with a 3rd down and about 9 to go.
They'll come to the line here needing 9 yards to pick up the first. Off play action, Fields.
He'll leave it for Montgomery complete. And this play comes to a halt at the 33, and obviously that's well short of the first down. Now the defense going to use the first of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 35 seconds to go in quarter number 2. On 4th down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. A 40-yard punt, 1 yard on the return, and it'll be Charger football here as they take over. The Charger drive about to get going. And with time quickly fading here in the 2nd quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot. A very limited time left to get into field goal range before the half, and they tried to get it all on one throw right there.
On 2nd and 10, the ball back with Herbert. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted.
Picked off by Jaquan Brisker.
And he's given his guys a shot for late points as they will take over in range for a field goal or maybe more. An unfortunate sequence there, trying to get points before intermission, but now the interception, and their opponents have a chance to possibly pad their lead.
Yeah, they had an opportunity there, and they weren't able to capitalize on it, and that's something that could come back and haunt them later. They're begging their defense now to keep them from scoring before the half ends.
On first down, it's Fields.
Got his man, and it's caught for Chicago. Touchdown.
Velus Jones
In the final seconds of the first half.
And the Bears would extend their lead here just before halftime.
Santos with the extra point, and the lead now up to 14.
So 6 seconds, all that remains of this first half as the kick is away.
And not wanting to risk anything here late in the half, he'll just take a knee, and they'll bring the football out to the 25. The Charger drive about to get going.
And only 6 seconds on the clock, so time likely for just one play.
They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. Eluding the pressure right. Thrown across his body, and it's intercepted.
Picked off by Jalen Johnson. And he will be brought down on what will be the final play of this first half.
So we've reached halftime here on opening weekend. As we'll head down to Orlando, that's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach. We'll see if week one fatigue becomes any kind of a factor as we are back underway in the second half.
No run back here for Hall, and this will come out to the 25.
The Charger drive about to get going.
Charles, it'll be interesting to see what adjustments this offense made in the locker room. Haven't really been able to get anything going offensively, virtually nothing in the ground attack either. So certainly something has to change here in quarter three.
And I'm pretty sure their friends from the defensive side of the ball told them exactly that, because those guys, the stop troops, they've been playing pretty well, and they've kept them around in this game. Now, they've got some time. The running game struggled in the first half. Opposition knows how to focus on defending the pass here. They've got to re-energize that ground game and maybe open things up for a comeback here in this half. I'm okay with the call there. In fact, I actually like it. I know they're down a couple of scores, but the running game worked in that situation. I would continue to go in that direction.
On 1st and 10, Herbert. And he'll go down. The Bears get there for the sack. Well, they're in some hot water now. After that sack, it's 2nd and 21. A play fake, and now Herbert to throw. Going deep here for Allen. And that's going to be incomplete. Good effort there trying to take a shot, but it's 3rd down.
I know conventional wisdom says, hey, don't get it all back in one play. But sometimes you go ahead and try to. They tried to get it all back on that one. Weren't able to do so.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Herbert now. He finds his target, Allen.
And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. A real letdown defensively. That was third and a bundle, but they allow the conversion.
Well, he reminded us that he was a 1,000-yard receiver a year ago as he starts off week 1 picking up right where he left off. He told us at the end of the preseason he was primed for a big year. He just gave us excellent evidence of his belief.
On first down, it's Herbert. He's airing it out for Williams. And that is caught one-handed. Oh, my, he pulled it in. A big pickup of 38. Well, make that now 2 completions for him on this drive, and these aren't ordinary completions. They're big ones.
Yeah, these are the types that make a secondary talk to each other and not in a good way, oftentimes pointing fingers. Hey, who's got him? Someone cover it. That type of indecision can open up to even more big plays.
And he's going to get this back to the 3-yard line and no further. They'll say no gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd and goal.
This is a critical sequence here for this offense. Things really haven't gone their way so far. This could be their chance to get back into it, but they've got to find a way to punch this ball in.
Eckler again.
And he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Chargers.
Austin Eckler, his first rushing touchdown on the year. And the Chargers have cut it back within a score.
Well, they had their chances in the first half, you remember, but had to settle for 2 field goals. This time they come away with 6.
I think they actually got affirmation about what they were doing by getting a touchdown, because the field goals means they got in range but couldn't quite finish it off. This time they broke through, and that's great for the old confidence.
And on the sideline, difference of a feeling between 3 and 6, is it astronomical or no?
It can be at times, that's for sure. A lot of times the field goal feels like a disappointment. The touchdown, well, that tells you you're getting it done.
Following the touchdown, Dustin Hopkins will kick it away.
Ebner going to elect to bring this out of the end zone here. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23. The Bears offense ready to go for their next drive. But Charles, they still have the lead despite their defense giving up a touchdown on the previous possession. And even though they have that lead, it feels like a back-and-forth ball game where to try to get momentum back, maybe they need at least 3 here on this drive.
I think you're right about that, Brandon, because your game plan doesn't change. But I do believe your urgency does because of the last score that went against your team. So what you want to do now is have your own drive and try and make sure that that momentum stays in your camp.
Being chased out left. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield.
Fields, we know he has the good mobility. He flashes it there as he scrambles for the first down.
Well, that turned out better than most of the passes he could have thrown on that snap. The coverage downfield was excellent, but the containment close to home left him a backdoor escape, and they paid dearly for not locking up.
It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
Switch it. Come on, switch it.
Back to Montgomery on 2nd down.
And some room to work. And he is in. Touchdown, Chicago.
David Montgomery, 44 yards. And the Bears go up by 2 touchdowns.
Now the point after try for Santos. And the lead is up to 14. After the touchdown, here's Santos to kick this one away. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. The Charger drive about to get going. They did what they had to do to start this third quarter, went down, got the touchdown to cut the lead, but the matching touchdown a moment ago, and we're right back where we started at halftime.
Yeah, you're exactly right, partner. They had a little bounce in their step after scoring that first touchdown, but the defense gave one up, and that's the problem right now. Can they get better play from their defense while they continue to score on offense?
Now a throw here to his running back. And up to the 35 before they're able to knock him down. A gain there of 12 yards and a first down L.A. Play action. It's Herbert. That's caught by his tight end, Gerald Everett.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
This will wind up a loss on the play, and that'll leave him with a third and just a yard.
Well, plays like that, Charles, no doubt, they're just going to continue to fuel this crowd.
And this defense is already playing well, but it also feeds on the energy of that crowd that you're talking about, and that takes them up to another level. Right now, they're playing really loose. They've got the lead, and what a nice stop they just made there behind the line of scrimmage.
The defense surrenders a 13-yard pass play there on 3rd and 1. So into Bear territory now. This is 1st and 10 at the 43. He's going to look for Allen now on the deep ball. And too much juice. It'll be out of bounds, incomplete.
But you got to think that sooner or later, they're going to hit one of those. But the coverage has been excellent thus far, and it was again on the last play.
2nd and 10, third quarter of the season opener.
Here's Herbert. He's airing it out for Williams. On Herbert, his 3rd interception. Picked off by Jaquan Brisker. And the Bears are going to get the football back as time will run out in this third quarter of play. We are through 3 quarters here on NFL Kickoff Weekend. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. At the line, prepping for their next drive, the Bears offense. He'll buy some time right. Now he'll let it go deep right side. A fight for it, and this is caught. What a catch. A huge play there for Chicago. 53 yards. Pretty impressive play. Scrambled out of the pocket. Now, it took some guts to throw that ball because the defender was right there.
Tells you also that his offensive line understands who he is. You don't just get one block on a play. Be prepared for 2 or 3 in order to help keep the play alive, and that allowed for the completion downfield.
The excellent play last time is followed by a much more routine gain of 3.
Well, that's not a run that's going to make any of the highlight tapes, but they've been moving it well all game on the ground. This is another one that keeps them moving forward.
On 2nd down, here's a keeper by the QB.
And he's able to work it here to the 8-yard line. 9 yards on the play there, and it'll set him up 1st and goal.
Well, that's the fear any defense has when the quarterback gets involved in the running game. You don't usually account for him, and he's hurting them today.
Yeah, he's been very involved in the running game. Defensively, when you got the coverage good downfield, how do you account for him, though?
Occasionally, you start to spy him. Take someone who has the same agility, who can dance with him, run with him, and try and keep him in the pocket.
And that is caught. Touchdown, Bears. David Montgomery, already his 2nd touchdown here in this opening weekend.
And the Bears are closing in on a winning start to the year as they extend their 4th quarter lead. And we remember, of course, all scoring plays need to be verified upstairs, and I think they're going to at least take a look at this.
Santos able to tack on the extra point, and the lead now to 3 touchdowns at 21. Now after the touchdown, here's Santos to kick this one away.
Fielded just outside the goal line. And not much happening on the return as he'll get this to about the 23.
The Charger drive about to get going.
And they knew coming in that this would be a tough place to go in and win a season opener. But this has just been a performance, to be frank, not to be proud of here as they trail big in this fourth quarter.
So that complicates things a bit here. 18 yards to go now on second down. Another try after the first down sack. Herbert. And he drops it incomplete, and their struggles continue here.
Even with such a big lead late, the effort hasn't lapsed one bit. If the offense wants to score some points in this one, they're going to have to earn it. These guys are not giving up anything.
This offense so far on third down, they're at 50%, 4 for 8. This will be a tough 3rd and 18. Here's Herbert. He's going to try and go deep again. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down.
We've seen that the deep ball's been a part of their game plan all afternoon, but they've had trouble hooking up on it, unable to successfully find the end zone over the top.
4th down for Herbert. Desperation time. And now look at this. Big gain, but a fumble. And this is picked up by the Bears. And his guys are going to get the football at the 37-yard line.
And with that kind of a deficit, you can't afford to make any kind of mistakes. But it's been pretty symptomatic of what we've seen all game with them, isn't it? Down this big in the fourth quarter.
You'd say an afternoon to forget, absolutely. First down, here's the run with Montgomery.
And he'll get it inside the 35.
Give credit to the defense for stringing that play out, and they gave up no cutback angle. You know he was trying to dart through. No place for him to go. A nice job there, only giving up a 3-yard gain.
3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. Again, they'll go ground with Montgomery. And he'll get a little over 2, maybe a full 3 down to the 32-yard line.
Well, praise has to go to the guys on the offensive line because they've had a very nice, productive day running the football. How about that poor defensive line? They've been knocked around the entire game, and while they slowed them down on that run, can they continue to do so? Because they haven't had much success throughout this ball game.
An extra cornerback now in the game for the Chargers here on 3rd.
Fields. Pass to the right. There's Jones.
And he is out of bounds right around the 10-yard line. A well-executed 22-yard gain.
And this was a nice example of an offensive coordinator scheming his guy open. Just a little underneath route, just trying to free up some space, and it worked awfully well. Got him not just space, but plenty of room to run after the catch to pick up really nice yardage.
Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be 2nd down. Good gain there on 1st down, and keeps him in a running situation probably.
They did everything right on that play, didn't they? They got the leverage up front, good blocking, nice hole for him, ends up picking up nice yardage, stays in bounds to keep the clock rolling. They are in charge of this scenario right now. They want to stay that way.
And not in any rush offensively.
Considering they've seen him have some big gains against them throughout this game, that's got to feel like a measure of revenge as they trap him behind the line of scrimmage for a loss.
Throwing on 3rd down, Fields. And a dangerous throw there as that's knocked down and incomplete. But their passing attack, even though that one was incomplete, has been really sharp in this one. It's resulted in a lot of touchdowns. And it looks like they're not going to stop throwing the football until the very end of this one.
Well, that will certainly make everyone involved on offense pretty happy because that gives them all a chance to pad their stats a bit. But as far as the actual need, you and I both know they can just run this clock out because this one, it was over a long time ago.
And after the made field goal, Santos back out there to kick it away.
Here comes Hall. He's going to bring it out. And no chance to get away as they'll get him down at about the 17-yard line.
The Charger drive about to get going. And they've sort of lost their way, partner. How do they recalibrate and get this proverbial train back on track?
Well, this is where leadership really comes into play. How's the head coach handling it? The offensive coordinator? Sometimes they just make a joke. All right, guys, you had your fun? All right.
Throw it out the window.
Yeah, let's get back on track here, and sometimes that'll work just fine.
I guess it's time now to lean on that leadership. And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped. Now Herbert off the bootleg. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football.
A lot of bad news on that play for them, wasn't there? Lost the football, lost a lot of yardage, but I think the good news outweighs it. Able to retain possession. That was big for them.
And we are inside of 2 minutes left in this lopsided affair. So it's Charger football as we welcome you back from the 2-minute warning. They're looking at second down now as they search for a consolation score. Now this one from about 2 counties over after the sack. They come up on a second and very long. Justin Herbert looking to pass. That is caught. It's Williams. And he's going to be taken down right at the 40-yard line. Defensively, I know they have the comfortable lead here in the fourth, but they do not want to give up big plays like that.
They want to finish strong. So oftentimes in this situation, you tighten up underneath in your coverage, and you bring your safeties back. They can pick up anything that leaks through. But in the meantime, upfield, you're making plays on the football.
Herbert setting up to throw on first down. Oh, he dropped it. And that's pretty indicative of the way this one's gone. I guess at this point, Charles, heck, why not take some shots?
I would agree with that totally, because a big play can't hurt at all. Heck, you might get a pass interference call out of it. Somehow the ball might get tipped up and you come down with it. Might not do too much for the result of the game, but it could add to your stats.
They'll fake the handoff. Now Herbert. And that'll be incomplete. Took a pretty good shot as he tried to pull that one in. Couldn't hang on third down.
This is certainly a team that has proven it likes to target its backs through the air, and defensively, they were aware of that and certainly were prepared on that throw.
This offense was on the move. Now 2 straight incompletions have them looking at 3rd and 10. A shotgun snap for Herbert. Oh, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going. So another incompletion there. He's hitting on fewer than half his pass attempts in this one, and that is not a winning formula.
Yeah, so let's make sure we give a little bit of credit to the defense here. They've given him a lot to think about, a lot of different looks, and he seems a little bit confused trying to complete passes.
Here we go on 4th. Herbert. And Allen's got it. And he'll be marked down at about the 26-yard line. That catch is number 819 of his career. It ties him with Hall of Famer Steve Largent.
Who did things largely below the radar? Not this guy. 819 catches. That speaks loudly in volumes.
And this one is incomplete.
Got to be wary of throwing an interception here because the defense knows they're going to get tested deep. That's why they're going to put a couple of extra guys back there to try and prevent that.
Yeah, late in the 4th quarter here, trying to preserve the lead. Throwing again on 2nd and 10. Herbert. And that will be incomplete. Tried to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be 3rd down.
At this point in the game, they've got to continue to try anything they can. They're still working at it, even though this one feels like a lost cause.
To the air again, Herbert.
He'll get this out wide to Eckler.
And that's not nearly going to be enough. Stopped at the 22, and he needed plenty more.
Well, CD, always a little extra excitement for Week 1, and one of our early window games here in Week 1 on a Sunday comes to a close. Good to be back in the booth with you, my friend.
And it's good to be back in the booth with you as well. And we know that not everyone's going to start the season 1-0, right? Half the league is going to have a loss on their record. but everyone's got to build off of that opener. And how many coaches tell us every single year, you make your most progress between week 1 and week 2. We'll see how both of these teams progress the rest of this season.
So for Chicago, that'll be a happy locker room as they start this season 1-0. And they will hit the road next week for a date with the Green Bay Packers. Meanwhile, for the Chargers, they go down to defeat here in the opener.